Welcome! Have you ever stopped to think about the conversation that's constantly running in your head? You know, that inner voice. Well, today we're going to dive into a truly life-changing idea, that the conversation you have with yourself has the power to completely reshape your entire world. We're going to learn how to harness that inner dialogue for more peace, more health, and more prosperity. So let's get started.
So let me just ask you this, and be really honest with yourself. When you talk to yourself, what's the tone? Is it a voice of encouragement, of faith, of possibility? Or is it a voice of doubt, of fear, of limitation? The quality of this inner conversation, well, it's absolutely central to the kind of life you're experiencing right now.
Here is the beautiful, empowering truth we're exploring today. You are not a victim of your circumstances. Not at all. You have the divine power to change them. And that change always begins with changing your inner conversation. So let's see exactly how this works. You know, to really get this principle, there's nothing better than a simple, true story. This one's about a young girl named Carolyn, and it just perfectly shows what pure, simple, faith-filled words can actually do.
So Carolyn was just 8 years old, and when she heard that there were no bananas in the grocery delivery, she didn't get upset. She just knelt down and prayed this very direct, very simple prayer. See that? No doubt, no hesitation, just pure, confident expectation. It's beautiful.
Now, the adult in the room, her mother's nurse, did what a lot of us do. She heard this and immediately felt the need to manage expectations. She saw the rain pouring down, she thought about the bad roads, and she tried to gently let Carolyn down easy. This is that voice of logic and reason we so often listen to, isn't it?
But Carolyn's response, wow, it just stops you in your tracks. Look at that confidence. She wasn't being rude or stubborn. She was just operating from a place of such deep, absolute trust. She knew something the nurse had forgotten. And here's the key. Her inner reality was so much stronger than her outer circumstances.
And the result? Well, at 11:53 p.m., just 7 minutes before her today was over, a car pulled up in the rain. It was the local pastor. He'd been woken up in the middle of the night with this strong feeling that something was needed at their house. And what did he bring with him? A bag of bananas. Her faith literally activated the means for its own fulfillment. Amazing.
So, what can we learn from Carolyn's incredible faith? Her story perfectly illustrates a core principle we're digging into now, that all real change, all real healing, or what we might call treatment, is actually self-treatment.
Now this idea kind of flips our normal way of thinking upside down. We spend so much energy trying to change other people, or trying to force circumstances to go our way. But the real work? It's not out there. The only person you ever need to convince is yourself. When you solve a problem in your own mind first, the outer world has no choice but to start conforming to that new reality.
Okay, so you might be thinking, this sounds great, but how do I actually do this? Well, this isn't just a nice theory. There is a simple, practical 3-step process for having this kind of divine conversation with yourself that produces real-world results.
It flows beautifully through 3 stages. First, we realize. This is all about just getting quiet, shutting out the noise of the world, and really feeling that deep, divine presence that's always there inside you. Then, once you feel that connection, you visualize. You close your eyes and you create a clear mental image of your greater divine self, the real you, the one that's already whole and powerful. And finally, and this is the active part, you actualize. You speak words of truth directly to that self, affirming its perfection. It's this powerful flow, from feeling to seeing to speaking.
But for this to really work, our words need to have some punch. They need power. It's not about just mindlessly repeating empty phrases. We have to unlock what the scriptures call the living word.
And believe me, this is not some new idea. This promise, right from the book of John, is crystal clear. When it says, "If my words abide in you," it means that when we are aligned with and filled by that divine spirit, our words gain creative power. They become something so much more. They become unstoppable.
So what is the living word? Well, simply put, it's a word that isn't just a sound coming out of your mouth. It's a word that is a vehicle for spirit, for life, for divine power. It's a word that is spoken with deep feeling and unshakable conviction.
Just think about the difference here. It's like night and day. Words spoken without spirit are just noise. They're dead on arrival. They fall flat. But words that are infused with spirit, they become living, breathing, creative forces that can literally heal, restore, and manifest the very things you desire.
So how do we do it? How do we give our words that power? There are 4 keys. First, you have to harmonize your mind with God. You got to get on the right frequency. Then, from that place, you can consciously think the right thoughts. But thoughts alone aren't enough. You have to give them meaning through your attitude. And finally, you breathe life, you breathe spirit into them through deep feeling and total conviction. Each step builds on the last, turning empty words into powerful reality.
Okay, so who exactly are we speaking to in this divine conversation? We're speaking to our inner true self, that part of us that is already perfect, whole, and connected to all the power there is.
Throughout history, this incredible presence has been given so many names. Jesus called it the Father within. St. Paul called it the power that worketh in you. You might call it your higher self, the Christ of God, or the great I am. Honestly, the name doesn't matter nearly as much as the recognition that it is there, within you, right this very second.
So the call to action, the invitation, is really simple. Start today. Don't just let your thoughts run wild on autopilot anymore. Have intentional, well-planned, heart-to-heart conversations with that divine self. Tell it what you desire. Affirm its power to bring it to you. Cooperate with it.
And this right here is the ultimate promise. This divine presence, this Christ within you, is your absolute hope of glory. It's your guaranteed potential for health, abundance, and joy. Speak to it, trust it, and watch as your words become your world. So let me ask you, what conversation will you choose to have with yourself today?